Do I think that Steph Curry right now is a top 5 player of this era? 100%. 100%. I'm not going to argue that, and I am not going to hate on him for that. And I'm not going to question Dell's picks. Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon. Because I think in that era, 1986 to 2002, they were great. But I would probably take, and I'm just being honest here, I would take Hakeem Olajuwon and put Tim Duncan there. That's just me.
That's fair.
Because I think he's the greatest power forward of all time. That's just my opinion. Now, Karl Malone was great. And Karl Malone was an offensive player. But Tim Duncan was pretty good in every aspect. And he made everybody around him better. So, and he was coached by Greg Popovich. And he did everything Greg Popovich wanted him to do. He was a great team player. But to look at the list here, Kawhi Leonard's a great player. Is he one of the best players, a top 5 player of this era? I wouldn't say so. He played with Tim Duncan. He played with Manu Ginobili, probably the best 6-man of all time. And he played with Tony Parker, so underrated as a point guard. Okay? And yes, he won with Toronto. And that was probably one of the most amazing things I've ever seen any player do. And you want to give him credit for that? That's great. One of the greatest upsets I've ever seen. Maybe because Kevin Durant tore his ACL in the game.
But they were also up 3-1 before that, so.
Nevertheless, it was one of the greatest series and one of the greatest moments I've ever seen as an NBA fan. Kevin Durant is a top 5 player of this era. There's no question. James Harden, not a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell I would put James Harden anywhere close to that. I'm just speaking the truth here.
I don't even know I would put him top 10.
How would you put him over Chris Paul? Now, James Harden never won anything. Chris Paul never won anything. You're going to tell me James Harden's better than Chris Paul?
What about Damian Lillard? So.
Damian Lillard? Yeah. I'm sorry. I would take, now I'm going to say this. I'd take Kawhi over Dame. I would take Kawhi over Dame.
I agree.
Dame never won anything. Kawhi did. And he won one by himself, really, with the Toronto Raptors. James Harden won nothing. And if I look at the list of players of this era, I could argue with you in many different ways. Speedy, give me the top 50 players of the era for the last 15 years. Give me top 15 players.
For the last 15
I would say,
years, LeBron is definitely one.
Okay. No, I'm not saying. I'm saying give me a list of players right now. Go look on the computer. Give me a list of the top 25 players of the last 15 years. The last 15 years. And I'm going to tell you right now, I would argue in many different ways why I could say that that's not true. You're going to tell me that any of these guys are better than Joker? Joker's been in the league for what, 6 years? In 6 years, Joker's accomplished more than half of these guys. He won one championship, yes. But in a 6-year span, he did it practically himself. And he was a second-round draft pick. You're going to tell me Jokic is not involved in the top 5 right now of this era?
Yeah, Russell Westbrook was, in this article, is number 20 in this, which I think he should be higher.
Okay,
too.
so what do you have? Russell Westbrook?
He had Dwight Howard, 19.
I don't care about that. Give me the list of players of this era. Give me a list of great players of this era, and I'll give you my top 5.
Oh, here we go. All right, so LeBron, Kobe, Dirk, Carmelo Anthony, Kevin Durant, Paul Pierce, Vince Carter, Tim Duncan, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Dwayne Wade, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Chris Paul, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan. That's interesting. Pau Gasol, Allen Iverson, LaMarcus Aldridge, Joe Johnson was one list. That was
okay.
And he mentioned some of the newer guys too.
Steph Curry, LeBron James, and KD. Those are the 2 guys. Now, the other guys, give me a list again.
All right, so Dirk Nowitzki, Carmelo Anthony.
I'd put Dirk there.
Okay. Carmelo Anthony, Paul Pierce, Vince Carter, Tim Duncan. You said you would put there, but Tim Duncan was kind of the previous era. Yes. Yeah. Harden, Westbrook, Dwayne Wade was probably also kind of. He was LeBron's era. I guess that counts.
I put Dwayne Wade there.
Okay.
Of this era, I put Steph Curry. I put Kevin Durant. I put LeBron James. In order. LeBron James 1, KD number 2.
Right.
I would put Dirk number 3. I put Dwayne Wade number 4. And I put Steph Curry number 5.
Okay. So then you also said, so Chris Paul will be the first one out. You think Chris Paul number 6 for that?
Chris Paul would be there.
Okay.
I put Paul Pierce there.
Okay.
Paul Pierce, he's a winner, great player.
So, Bruce, what I said, James Harden's not even top 10.
No, James Harden isn't. How does he put James Harden in that?
I don't know.
What is he, a butt buddy of James Harden or something like that? I don't understand. I don't understand. And as far as Dell's picks, and again, it's just my thoughts here. That doesn't mean that I'm right, but to put James Harden there, it's ridiculous. What has he won? All the guys that I mentioned won. Every one of them. Every one of them won. Now, KD didn't win by himself. He had to win with, a dynamic super team. So did LeBron James. LeBron James never won until he played with a super team.
Right.
Practically, those two players played with Steph Curry won with a super team. Dwayne Wade did not win with a super team.
Right.
He didn't. That's why I think and Dirk Nowitzki played with a bunch of old guys, okay? A bunch of old players. They were not a very good. Without Dirk Nowitzki, they don't stand a chance, okay? And they beat that super team. They beat the first year LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh.